Hey everybody, welcome back to Tackle on My Mind. What's on my mind? Well, I'm going to have a little video here for you of a tournament I recently fished in. This is the Ohio Kayak Fishing Mosquito Creek Lake Tournament. This is a state, kind of like a state tournament, state league, all across the state of Ohio. They fish different bodies of water. It's a They took over from a past league used to call the Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail, no longer in existence. I fished that quite often, but didn't do any OKF events this year. Mostly just time, schedule, and other things going on. Plus, I dedicated a lot of my weekend fishing and other times to the Toledo Area Kayak Anglers League, which is that league that I run. We just wrapped up our season not too long ago. And so, I had some time. So I figured, you know what? Let's go out and see how we can do up against a few more anglers, statewide anglers, stuff like that. So I went ahead and registered for this one, see what I could do. So a little bit starting out here. I'm in a nice little pocket, not too far from the boat ramp where I launched. Pretty calm day. Sun's not quite fully up yet. While I was sitting there waiting to go, there's bass popping all over the place. A lot of bait fish in the area. So my plan for the day was always to start out with a top water. I got a buzz bait tied on here, throwing that around a little bit, see if I can get any fish to come up. The area I'm in, as I said, it's a nice little pocket, kind of almost a grass flat too. So I didn't get anything on the buzz bait, so I thought, well, let's try a fluke. Fluke I actually got on is an X-Zone Whiplash shad in a smoke shad color. That's a new fluke style bait I was going to try. Move that around a little bit. Combine that, also threw the Zoom Super Fluke around a little bit. Just seeing if I could get any bites. Early on, I kind of struggled to get anything. Again, this area, it's anywhere from, if you get way back in the pocket, it's, dirt shallow. Area I'm fishing anywhere from 2 to 4 feet. Submerged grass, a couple places all the way up to the surface, but most of the time it was about, 1 to 2 feet under the surface. Still not getting any bites. Going on past history, I fished this area a couple other times in a couple other tournaments. One last time as I was here, I had a lot of success throwing a square bill crankbait. So you'll see here in a minute. I believe this is where you'll see me grabbing that square bill. Throwing a Lucky Craft DRS 1.5 Ghost Minnow. A lot of guys say, gee, throwing a crankbait in grass like that. But again, I would usually throw this grass if I was in 4 to 5 foot of water, because then I could keep the square bill and keep my rod up a little bit, keep it above there. Of course, I do get some grass quite a bit, but my firm belief is if you're in the grass, you're going to find the bass. Haven't proven anything yet, but a couple anglers around me. You see an angler there off in the distance a little bit. It's a fellow tackle angler, Shane Brennan. I had heard him. I think he caught a couple on a topwater. A little bit ago, you saw another angler. That was the great Utah Parker. I think he had caught one on a chatterbait, but he was moving to his spot. So I'm still throwing my little crankbait around here, just seeing if past history is going to help me out here. So there I got my first fish. I have to say, up until this point, I was feeling pretty anxious, and even though it's early in the morning yet, I was feeling a little nervous. Getting that first fish on the board wasn't a big one. You can see 13.25, but getting that first one, no, you're not going to get skunked. So kind of started relaxing a little bit more after that. I don't know why I got an 8-hour day ahead of me. Didn't think I'd be too worried about catching a fish early in the morning, but if you fish tournaments, it seems, at least to me, the longer it goes, the more anxious I get about whether I'm going to catch something. Then, some doubt might start creeping in. So anyway, I felt really good that I got that bite on that crankbait. Let's see, I go through my whole process here. Get the hooks taken out. I have what they call a donkey leash. Get my fish on there. Get everything set up so I can take my photo, release the fish. So where I'm at here, I'm probably in about right at 4 foot of water. To my left is it's up to about 5 feet. To my right, if I go directly to the right, it's about 2 feet of water. Again, this crankbait runs about 4 feet, so I'd usually get down, tick the tops of that grass. Sometimes I'd get it caught in the grass and have to rip it through it. Another fish, pretty sure this is just a little dink that I caught. Again, if you're fishing a tournament, even getting a little dink, it's kind of a good feeling because, they're biting. The fish are interested in what you're throwing. So now I'm just, my goal right away is get a limit. This tournament is 5 fish. If you follow me on my channel, the tackle tournaments, we have 3 fish limit. OKF has 5 fish limit. Also, our tournaments aren't quite all day. This one is from 7 to 3. So, realistically, I got a lot of time here. So, 2 fish, 1 scoreable, I'm on the board. So I put down the square bill, and I kind of strangely remembered that I had that Strike King Hybrid Hunter. It's the big one, 3.5 inch. This one is clear minnow color that I showed you there. If you've never fished a hybrid hunter, they are great for fishing in grass. I've had a few tournaments, got some nice fish already in that. So it wasn't too many casts after I put that bait on. I caught another fish. That would be fish number 2. That's just 15 1/4. So I know they're going to be biting that. I fished that for a little bit, and then I decided to downsize. I stopped getting bites on the bigger one. This is a little smaller one. I didn't have to clear minnow in the smaller size. This one is 2.5 inches. Actually, that other one is 3 inches. My bad there. You can see them side by side there. But I had a called a phantom perch color, which this time of year, I think a perch color is probably a good thing. We got some clear water so that it's kind of a clear bait. So I moved off that original spot. I'm still in shallow water here. I'm still in grass. And here I got a nice fish. I can feel this is a pretty decent one, probably around that 15, 16 inch. Comes up a little bit. And I kind of lose tension on my rod. I lose it. Kind of mad at myself at this point. Reminding myself I got to fish clean. Got to land every fish you catch. See, I get another one here. See this a little bigger fish. And all of a sudden now I can feel it's a little better fish. He kind of dives down underneath my kayak. I'm getting my net ready here, getting everything, keeping tension on that rod. Look at that rod working for me. And she jumps, and I'm starting to think, oh my gosh, I got a big one here. Pretty, pretty pumped at this point. Trying to stay calm though, get her in the net. And now I can't believe what I have here. We got a I'm like so stoked now. I mean, I'm just looking at this fish and she's huge. I gotta kind go through that process, get the hooks out of her, hooks out of my net. Once I get the hooks out of the fish, I'll put them on my donkey leash. Problem with that is though, her lips were so thick, I had a hard time getting my clip, my donkey leash on her. And even after I got it on, I wasn't too sure. You see, she starts wobbling. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So I decided to take her off the donkey leash, and we're just gonna let her sit in the net. It might have held, but I wasn't going to take the chance of that, her swimming around, knocking up against my kayak, or who knows where. She could even probably got down to the bottom and banging around and taking a chance of knocking that donkey leash off of her when it didn't feel very secure to me. So now, I mentioned I usually like to take the hooks out of the fish first while I got hooks in the net. If you know, if you're fishing with treble hooks, you're going to get some stuck in your net. That's kind of inevitable. So I'm hoping, she's just laying there in my net, so I'm not too worried about her at this time. Just working to get hooks out of a net. Let her in the water a little bit. Give her some oxygen and refresh her a little bit and take care of her as much as I can. She is just, she's heavy. Again, part of my routine, get all my rods out of the way. You see, I'm having a hard time even here. I am just shaking at this point. My adrenaline is going. My heart is racing. Got to move her out of the way, get my measuring board out, get that all set up. Whenever I get ready to photo, I always give some kind of indicator. So usually, like this is the third fish, I'll hold up 3 fingers, take a picture of that. So when I go back to do some submitting and other things, that kind of helps me just kind of keep them separate and find my fish so I throw them in the right area. So now I got to get her out again. I know she's plus 20 at this point. I got her on my board. And right now I'm stretching that tail because I am trying to get 22 inches. 21.75 was totally awesome, but 22 would have been a personal best. I had a 21.75 in the tournament a few years ago and ended up losing big bass in that tournament. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped at this time. Selfie of her. My arms aren't long enough. So now I'm really feeling good. There was some talk at the boat ramp beforehand that we should be ready for dinks all day. So I'm thinking, well, that's not, so that'll make up for a lot of that for me. So that's 3 fish I'm sitting pretty good after 3 fish. Feeling, if anything, I'm sitting pretty good for in bass. So I kind of go back. I'm a little deeper water, so I pull out that square bill again. Big fish here. And it gets to the surface, and yeah, he's a pretty big fish, except he's the wrong species. Pretty nice walleye, though. If I had someone to keep it, I might have tried to keep that on a stringer. Back to my hybrid hunter. Not a big fish, but again, just looking for a limit right now. So that's fish number 4. 12-inch is the minimum. This short strike, this comes where a good rod is going to help. You see how this rod's doing all the work for me. Keeping that bend in the rod, keeping the pressure on that fish. I'm able to get her to the net. And being a 1625 you saw. So I got 5 fish right now. My limit is 78, 75. At that point, I was in the lead. Didn't last long because the next time I checked, I was out of the lead by about 4 inches. I'm kind of back in that little cove area. Just clipping the tops of grass, pulling it through grass at times. All on that Hybrid Hunter Junior and Strike King. That Phantom Perch color. Pretty pumped about that fish. Good size. Definitely second biggest one I caught at this point. And you can see, big upgrade for me. So that put me at 85. 85 is going to put me in the top 5. Top 5 should get paid. Still out of the running. They're still out of the top spot, I believe. Right around 89 leader head at this point. 2 guys in front of me. Dink here skipped him across the water. Not my best landing job. So unfortunately, my battery ended up dying on me, and I didn't have my backup. But as the day went on, I kept in my area. I tried a couple little things once in a while. Kind of fished around a little bit. I ended up catching a 20-inch, a 16, and an 18.5-inch fish as the day went on. At 1:30, I was at 89.75, and I was still in third place. Two guys ahead of me were putting up some numbers. Between 2 and 2:30, I caught 2 upgrades, including my last fish, which was a 18.5-inch fish. And that put me at my total for the day. At that point, I was feeling pretty good because the guy in second place was about right around 3 inches behind me. His smallest fish was a 17. So I knew for him to upgrade by 3 inches, he was going to have to really grab something. All in all, there was my total 93.75, my biggest total ever, tied for my personal best ever. I ended up taking first place, my first ever win on a state level like this. I was pretty stoked. It's a pretty awesome day. Yeah,